Good morning. Good morning. It is 10 o'clock, so I'd ask everybody to take their seats. Uh, and at this time, call to order the Douglas County Board of Commissioners meeting for March 5th, 2026, and ask you to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by this morning by Commissioner Charlotte Hales.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first order of business at every meeting is public comment, opening public comment. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker unless additional time is granted by the board chairperson. The Board of Commissioners uses timing lights to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to speak. You'll see a green light when you begin and then a yellow light which indicates that you have 30 seconds left and should conclude your comments. Once the light turns red and you'll hear a beep, please sit down. In addition to opening public comment will also be taken on administrative agenda items that are identified for possible action. I believe we only have 2 today, and again at closing public comment. If you plan to speak on a specific item that is on the administrative agenda, we ask you to speak at that time unless you have to return to work, and then you can certainly speak and then exit. So if you, okay, and public comment must be limited to matters that are within the jurisdiction and control of the Board of County Commissioners. We have no control of the school board. We have no control of the sheriff's office. We have no control of the courts. So within items that are within our jurisdiction, which is very limited and only given to us by the powers by the state legislature. It must be, public comment must be addressed to the chairperson and not to the members of the public so that the board may take further action on the issues that are raised by the public. When you approach the podium, we ask you to please sign in, state your name and your time. Your 3 minutes will start once you state your name. So Mr. Tolbert will be handling the clock today. So thank you. So at this time, public comment will be taken on those items that are within the jurisdiction and control of the Board of County Commissioners. Public comment.
Jim Jackson. They shifted some onto your shoulder today. At the last meeting, there was a discussion and decisions made on Moore Lane up off of Fremont. And at the time I said that I kind of agreed with your decision. At this point, I'm not sure if I still do because of some other discussions that have gone on. Your decision was that the one homeowner that built his barn right on his property line, expecting to always have access to that side of it, kind of a dumb thing to do, but he did. And the fence was built on that property line. The decision was that the fence had to be moved and that he could improve Moore Lane for his benefit. The county said they would make sure that it's to code. Is that just from his property line down to Fremont or all the way up to the top of where Moore Lane's supposed to go? I believe that if you're going to let him improve any portion of it, it should be the whole thing. And he's going to pay for it. The homes that are up at the very top that were the ones probably complaining the most about the fence are still complaining. And if they don't get that road all the way up there, they'll be back in here after you folks and everything. So I think I mentioned that the last time I was in here, that there is a firestorm that could be opened up because of that. So you're going to have that come back again, I'm sure. Anyway, that was one point. The other point was I have been told several times by several different people that the movie theater will not get any money from the general fund. That is incorrect. There is at least $50,000, I was informed of, that will be coming out of the general fund to go to the theater. I don't know if you all realize that, but it is in the agreement. Now, what that's for, I'm not really sure, but I understand it's for the maintenance or the running of it or whatever. So in the budget meetings that are coming up, I'm going to be sure that I am here specifically for when that budget comes up to see where that money is being hidden. But I was told it was at least $50,000 that's going to come out of the general budget. So those that have been telling me that there is no funds coming out of the general fund, relook at what your agreement was with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional public comment?
Yeah, I left my regular glasses at home. Sorry for this. So I'd like to start out my comments today with Charles Heffernan.
Can you please-
Sorry. Yes,
okay.
Charles Heffernan, Johnson Lane. So I'd like to start out my comments today by commenting on the meeting that the county manager had with the federal agencies, the BIA and the BLM, and the excellent summary she put together regarding that meeting. It's really heartening to us, at least to me, that you're willing to go to them and hold their feet to the fire. And so thank you so much for that, and I appreciate the efforts you're making on holding those agencies to what they're supposed to be doing. Next, this one isn't quite so rosy. So regarding the agreement and other approvals that Knox has for operating the mine, in their environmental document, they committed to covering the loads on all the trucks leaving the mine. That hasn't happened. And I don't know who's responsible for holding that. And I'm not talking about being in conformance with the county ordinance. I'm talking about what they committed to do in the environmental document. Okay? Next is the agreement that between Knox and the county. And per agreement section 7, there was to be 20 trips per day for the months of December, January, February, and March. Okay, that's as a basis. Saturday, February 14th, I got a copy of the license plate readers for the eastbound camera on Johnson Lane. And I sorted that, and I'm glad to provide you with my assessment, but so that you can check this. From the eastbound camera reader, there were 95 trucks using Johnson Lane. That was on a Saturday, February 14th. Now, the other thing that it says is, in no case will operator allow third-party sales of materials to occur for customers to either enter or exit the mine on Saturday. I know for a fact, because I saw them, there were many, many, many trucks leaving the mine and going to other sites that were not Knox trucks. 95 trucks. That's way more than 20, and it is February, okay? So, again, we've got to hold them to their agreement that they made with you. Monday, February 16th, again, this is per the eastbound camera reader. After sorting, there were 145 trips, way more than 20, way more than the 85 maximum that they have in the agreement, way more than 60 average. So even if my assessment, I'm happy to give you a copy of how I assess this, but even if I'm half wrong, it's way more than's allowed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Ron Conway. Hope everybody's having a good day. I'm gonna poke the bear. You're right, Mr. Gardner. They are allowed with the 36-hour notice to work on a Saturday. But in Mr. Maxwell's email, no trucks will be on the road before 7, and no trucks will be on the road after 2:30. I got video time-stamped, 5 trucks going behind my house, which is the last block, not to mention the whole rest of the way up. before 7. 5. One was at 6:37 in the morning. It was dark out. Yeah, they're allowed with 36-hour notice. At the end of the day, the last trucks coming in came in at 3 to get loaded. The last truck out was 3:15. So they came in after 2:30 and they went out after 2:30. I got video evidence to that. I got cameras sitting up there with timestamps. Mr. Maxwell, lying again. Now, yep, he sent the email, supposedly. I'm still on the fence about that. I got to do some more research. Can you tell me what good it does the residents if your town guy knows, but we don't? How's that going to help us? He knew. We didn't. The truck started at 6:30 in the morning, bouncing behind my house. I'm an old man. I'm an ex-garbage man, quarry person, construction. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't sleep well. Thanks. I needed it. Okay, yeah, I get frustrated, I get mad, and you get the brunt of it. And that's just the way it is, because you're politicians. Let's talk a little bit about the impact fee. $9,750, I'm rounding up a little bit, for the year 2025. With what they moved, first and second quarter, third and fourth quarter, I could see that possibly going up to maybe 15 to 20,000. I hope it don't, because if it does, we'll end up like another October 3rd of 2025, where we had 367 trucks in and out of that quarry. That's a far cry from 85. 367. And it came from your paperwork that I asked for. All I did was simply count them.
Thank you. Is there any additional public comment here today? Thank you. Before I bring it, I'll bring it back to the board. I did want to recognize the fact that I understand we have a number of attendees from Leadership Douglas County in the audience today, and so I would like to ask them to please rise and be recognized. Oh, I thought there was going to be a lot more. I thought the word got out that it was going to be a short meeting and they're required to attend the meeting, and so I thought they were all going to rush in today. So, okay. So anyways, welcome and thank you for attending. Okay. With that, we'll we'll close public comment, bring it back to the board. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as proposed.
Agenda as is.
Second?
Okay, motion by Commissioner Tarkanian, seconded by Commissioner Hales to approve the agenda as proposed. Sensing no adjustments, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, I'll now entertain a motion to approve the draft minutes of February 5th, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Somebody?
I move that we accept the minutes as
Okay.
presented.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Tolbert, seconded by Commissioner Rice to approve the draft minutes of February 5th, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Sensing no corrections, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. We'll go into the consent calendar. For those that are not aware of it, the consent calendar can be passed in its entirety with a one single motion. I have been informed that item F, that's listed for possible action, is not ready for prime time and has asked to be pulled from this particular meeting. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar, items A through J, minus item F.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Hale, seconded by Commissioner Rice to approve the consent calendar, items A through J, with the exception of F. Since no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0, and we will now go into the administrative agenda. And for presentation only, ceremonial presentation of an Employee Service Award to Liz Begovich for 20 continuous years of service to Douglas County, being presented by our county manager and our Community Services Director, Brooke Ady. Don't sit down, Brooke. And I know you have a number of other people here today to recognize Liz for 20 years. We don't create a lot of those pins, do we?
We do
But,
not.
yeah, we do not. So anyways, I'll go ahead, County Manager Jennifer Davidson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Jennifer Davidson, County Manager. For the record, it is my honor to co-present this service award for 20 years of distinguished service with Douglas County. Ms. Begovich is a model employee, one that we are all very proud to be working alongside. She exemplifies the values of this organization and has from the moment that she started working here. Everyone who has interacted with Liz recognizes that she's a true joy and brings so much passion to the work that she does. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Director of Community Services, Brooke Ady, to give you the official award. Thank you.
Want me to say a couple things?
Yes.
Okay, here. Thank you, Brooke Ady, Community Services Director. I've had the honor and privilege of working with Liz for about the last 4.5 years when I started working with the county. So Liz has been here for 20 years. She started as a park seasonal employee, then went to the animal shelter where she was an animal care assistant, then she was an animal care officer, then she was the supervisor, then she came over to Parks and Recreation where she was our volunteer coordinator, and now she's the supervisor of our DART transportation program. She has been such an amazing employee in all of her different roles. She's provided a great attitude. She's been a great support for not only her staff, but also her peers. In her role as the DART transportation supervisor, she has taken in a position for somebody who was in the role for 25 years, probably prior. And she has brought a very great fresh perspective. She has been working really hard at making sure staff are trained. They've got the appropriate equipment. We're working on doing some new routing. So she has been such an asset to that program now, as she has been to all of our other programs. So it is my honor and privilege to congratulate you on 20 years.
I just want to thank everybody for being here and supporting me, and I want to give thanks to God, my husband, Jeff Begovich, the teams that I've worked with throughout the years, and the teams that I continue to work with. So thank you guys so much.
I will say many of the team members that she has worked with throughout the years, they are all here. So if I can invite you guys all up and we can do a big group photo.
Two tall guys.
Wow, I was wondering what was on the agenda that was attracting so many people this morning. So, okay. We'll go into our next item. Yes, for presentation only, Douglas County's contractor, Parametrics, will give a presentation on the Safe Routes for All plan. The presentation will include updates on community engagement, project progress, data analysis, and next steps, being presented by Josh Nordlow, Acting Transportation Engineering Manager, and Miss Debbie Swickard, Grants Administrator, and another lady. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with. Okay, Amy.
Amy Cummings, sir.
Okay, thank you. And Josh, I think this is the first time we've actually had you come before this board that I can recall, but welcome.
Thank you. It's been a couple of years.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So you may proceed. Thank you.
All right. Josh Nordlow, Public Works, for the record. This presentation is on our Safe Streets for All plan that we received a grant, from a federal grant, to implement this plan. With me is Amy Cummings from Parametrics. She's her group's putting together the plan for this. They also did our plan for the Safe Streets to School. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Amy to give her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Amy Cummings, a transportation planner with Parametrics. And we are underway with the Safety Transportation Plan, and appreciate being here today to share where we are. The purpose of the study is to look at the entire county for all modes of transportation and identify opportunities to improve transportation safety. We're taking an especially close look at areas that have had severe crashes, so fatalities or serious injuries. That's where we're putting a lot of our effort, but we're looking at all crashes as well. We want to make sure we're looking for walking, bicycling, and driving, all of the modes of transportation. And we're also keeping in mind on being cost-effective in solutions that we can recommend. So we're looking for small scale as well as larger scale types of projects that could improve safety. And this was grant funded. The program, the Safe Streets for All federal program, funds planning grants such as this one. The next step is to identify a project in a safety plan, and then you can apply for construction funding. So that's one of the things that we have in mind, is identifying projects that would be good candidates for future construction funding grants as well in future rounds. Community input is really important to this process, and we want to make sure that we are letting folks know that there is a public open house on March 18th. It's at the Douglas County Community and Senior Center Dining Room from 4 to 6. And we have some flyers here. There's some out on the table by the agendas as well, so we hope folks will join us. There's a QR code on the flyer, and that will take you to a survey. It's really brief. It's just about 8 questions, and we're hoping to get people to give us input on what their priorities are, what are their biggest concerns about transportation safety needs. And we've already had over 100 people take this survey, but we want to have a lot more, so we invite everyone who's here to grab a flyer and go and take the survey, and also join us at the public meeting. We're also doing other stakeholder meetings and meeting with community folks to get specific input on concerns that they may have. We're building on the work that's come before, the master plan, the transportation plan, the Safe Routes to School plan, and the trail plan, so that priority projects from those are also being considered in this safety effort. And we're looking at, in particular, some of the studies that NDOT has done, like the one on 395. We know that's a big safety need, so we're incorporating the results of that, as well as work that they have done up on US 50, and that the regional metropolitan planning organizations have done, like CAMPO and TTD. One aspect of this grant is to look at policies, transportation safety policies at the county level. So we're looking at the documents that have been adopted and identifying some ways that we could potentially strengthen some safety policies in future updates. So when we have the draft plan, that will be one of the things that you'll see are some ways to maybe add emphasis for transportation safety in future master plan updates. The crash analysis has been a big focus up to this point. We have data from NDOT from 2019 to 2023. That's the most recent available. So in the county as a whole, there have been over 2,600 crashes. You can see the hot spots for those crashes on this map, and 395 is where a large proportion of those have occurred. But we know NDOT's already done a lot of work and study on 395, so we wanted to make sure we're not ignoring the rest of the county roads that the Public Works Department can focus on. So we did a second analysis that looked at just the non-NDOT roads to see where those crash concerns are. And a lot of those are on the roads that feed into 395, so we are looking at those, as well as some other neighborhood roads and regional roads across the region. And I do want to point out, there were 7 traffic fatalities on local roads during this time period, 17 crashes involving pedestrians, and 7 involving bicyclists. So those are the numbers that we're really focusing on, transportation investments that can bring those numbers down.
I'm sorry, what was that time frame for that 7 fatalities?
It's 2019 to 2023.
Okay, thank you. So we don't have any more recent data than 2023?
This is the most recent that NDOT has because they take all of the crash records from the county and from law enforcement and they digitize that. They're working on providing updates. So that's something is in future versions of this plan that could be updated as new data is available. We're taking that data and identifying for one of the other requirements of the plan, the high injury network, and we'll have bigger maps of this at the public meeting and invite people to take a look and see if there are areas that we're missing that they think we should be focusing on. And we split it out between the state routes and the local routes, so it's a little easier to see what types of improvements and kind of what agency would be taking the lead on some improvements in those areas. And we wanted to point out that we are looking at all types of crashes, but as we define this, we're putting additional emphasis, kind of additional weighting for the serious and fatal crashes.
So I hope you don't mind asking questions as we go along in this presentation. Can we look back at that last slide? Route 756, basically from 395 down to Centerville and near the Ranchos. I know that, is that considered a state route?
Josh Nordlow, Public Works for the record. Yes, that is a state route.
Okay, because I know that we, and I know Commissioner Tarkanian has really been on top of this as well over the last several years, and the need for a pedestrian access or multimodal access from the Ranchos to our community center, and that's basically the route that they would need to take. So hopefully maybe we can get some help in that regard from the state, right? So, thank you.
Josh Nordlow, Public Works for the record. John Erb at one point in time had applied for grants for NDOT to do some work in there. NDOT got the grants. They kind of pushed back. They wanted the county to fund more of the project, but that's for a different discussion.
I won't go further into it, but it's my understanding that NDOT has plans to do a pedestrian path, not as wide as we would like. Do you know if that's still in the plans, or is that something that you're not aware of at this time?
Josh Nordlow, Public Works. I'm not aware yet. I haven't seen those plans, but I will reach out to NDOT and see if I can find anything out for you, sir.
I also know that, and I still want to talk about 756 because I know that we have a severe question of traffic off of Waterloo onto 756 and whether or not we're going to be able to put a roundabout in there, which would really help us, in my opinion, to alleviate accidents. So, and I know I felt at one time the federal government was going to be involved in that as well. Is that still in the making?
Josh Nordlow, Public Works. I'm not sure. I'd imagine that that whole thing with the pedestrian and a roundabout would probably be of the same project, that they would mobilize a contractor to do all that work at once. But as I stated to Mr. Tarkanian, Commissioner Tarkanian, I will reach out to NDOT and see if I can find out any more information on that. Josh Nordlow, Public Works again. We did receive a grant, a raise grant to design Waterloo to go connect to Stodic Park on US 395. We just got approval for that this week. It was just signed, and that will alleviate some of the traffic that comes through Waterloo and Lampe Park. But that is not the Waterloo / 756. Well, it depends on which one you're at, the Waterloo 756 coming off the ranches or the Waterloo 756 by the feed store, because there's both intersections.
Yes. So
there.
as I understand it, the Waterloo is eventually going to go from the feed store behind to the south of our current community center and then tie in with 395. Is that correct?
Josh Nordlow, Public Works, that is correct. We just got that grant and just got it signed this week, so.
Well, thank you. This is, it's very productive and very helpful input for us. Our next step, now that we've done the crash analysis, is to identify potential projects and recommendations. So that's the next phase of this effort, and we're working towards having a draft plan this spring in May. So thank you very much.
Any
That's
other
it?
questions?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, questions, commissioners? Comments? Observations? Nothing. Wow. Well, it says for presentation only, so no, I don't think they're bringing anything to us today to act upon, but this was informational only, okay? So once again, we appreciate you coming before us, Mr. Nordlow and Amy, and then as always, a pleasure seeing Ms. Wickard. We appreciate the job you're doing over in your department, so in grants, so thank you. Appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you.
So not too much of a problem, Mr. Nordlow, right? Your first, one of the first opportunities to visit with us. Okay, not too many problems. Okay. A good baptism, so to speak. Yeah. So, okay. Now this item, airport, is for possible action item number 9. Discussion to adopt ordinance 2026-1663, amending Title II of the Douglas County Code by amending Chapter 2.58, Douglas County Airport Advisory Committee, to change the election cycle of the chair and vice chair. More specifically, Section 2.58.020 will be amended to change the election of the chair and the vice chair from annually in the month of March to annually at the first meeting of the calendar year. This is the second reading, so this is going to be actionable, and it's being presented by our excellent airport manager, Heather McDonnell.
Thank you. Good morning. Heather McDonnell, Airport Manager for the record. Thank you for the second reading of this ordinance. This is just a cleanup item for the advisory committee to give a little bit more flexibility to when they meet and how often. So there is that gap sometimes when their term expires and we get a new one elected where we don't have that the vice and vice chair position. So this just helps us with that term. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Any questions of Ms. McDonnell? Sensing none, this is for possible action. We'll go to public comment. Is there any public comment on item number 9, ordinance 2026-1663? Okay, sensing no public comment, I'll bring it back to the board. And I'll entertain a motion. Somebody?
I move we adopt ordinance 2026-1663, amending Title II of the Douglas County Code as presented.
Okay. Everybody awake? Okay. Okay, motion by Commissioner Hale, seconded by Commissioner Turkanian to adopt ordinance 2026-1663, amending Title II of the Douglas County Code as presented. Since no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. That was quick. Yep. Okay. We will go to item number 10. For possible action, discussion to approve a $21,686 One Nevada opioid funding grant to the Tahoe Douglas Fire Protection District to purchase narcotic storage equipment to support opioid prevention, treatment, and recovery, and authorize the Community Services Director to prepare and sign the grant funding agreement, being presented by Community Services Director Brooke Ady.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to bring this item forward. My name is Brooke Ady. I'm the Community Services Director. The One Nevada opioid funding is a result of settlements from manufacturers and distributors of opioids. We've been receiving funds for the last couple of years. In 2022 or 2023, we created a needs assessment that identified, what are the things that we would be able to support in our community with the One Nevada funds. Some of the things that the Tahoe Douglas Fire District is requesting do fit within our needs assessment. We have reached out to our state partners to verify that the request is an approved or is acceptable within the funding requirements that we have. So the Tahoe Douglas Fire Protection District has been utilizing Barton Hospital to store their narcotics. The Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, has come to Tahoe Douglas and said, you are no longer able to store your narcotics in California because you guys are in Nevada. The Tahoe Douglas Fire doesn't currently have the necessary equipment for proper storage of narcotics. And so due to this extra cost, which is something that they were not prepared for, they had come to us to say, hey, is this something that you guys would be able to fund that aligns with your funding? So what they're asking to purchase for $21,686 is a BD MedBank mini system. And so this includes the hardware as well as the software licensing and technical support to properly storage and manage the narcotics that are needed for Douglas County residents. I have Chief Chris Lucas here, who is able to answer any questions that you guys might have regarding this funding as well. So thank you.
Commissioners, questions? I don't see any questions up here. So with that, then we'll go to public comment. Is there any public comment on item number 10? Seeing no public comment, we'll bring it back to the board and entertain a motion.
Thank you. I move that we approve a $21,686 One Nevada opioid funding grant to the Tahoe Douglas Fire Protection District as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Rice, seconded by Commissioner Tarkanian to approve the $21,686 One Nevada opioid funding grant to Tahoe Douglas Fire Protection District as stated. Since no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Okay. We will go now to item 11 for presentation only, announcements, reports, updates from county commissioner members. It seems rather early, doesn't it, to get to this item? It's like including updates on the various boards and or commissions that they may be a member of or a liaison to, or any other meetings, functions they have attended, and any request by a commissioner for discussion of a future agenda item. Ms. Hales.
Thank you. First, congratulations. This might be a new short, so that's great. But I do have a number of things. We went to the NACO Legislative Conference, Commissioner Tolbert and I and Commissioner Gardner. And as part of that, we were able to spend a day working with our federal representatives. And we focused on the lands bill. And I have to give a shout out to Commissioner Tolbert because he is very good with his computer and he doesn't mind staying up till all hours of the morning to finesse our presentation to be as persuasive and personal as it could possibly be. And I felt that our presentations were very successful. We received a high priority message from our federal people, and I'm very encouraged that that's moving forward. I have attended several of my committee assignments, and I'll just note two quick things. At Tahoe Transportation District, we received a presentation yesterday about the transit study that is ongoing, just as we received here not too long ago, with more details, and I feel like that's the right work to be doing, and I'm pleased that that's moving forward. This afternoon, South Shore Transportation Management Association will have its annual meeting, and I will attend that. I want to note that there are a couple of vacant positions on that board to which we could have a Douglas County resident appointed if we found someone interested and willing to serve. Those vacancies are for a South Shore Education Community member or a recreation provider on the South Shore. So if you know of anyone who might be interested in either of those vacant positions, there is another position, but I've already lobbied someone for that one, and I think it's going to work. So I'd like to get more Douglas County reps on that. It's a very good board, and it's a bi-state board, and we care about bi-state and all boats, all the tide rising all boats. So we don't need people that will just, go in and fight for Douglas, because we want everybody to improve with this thing. But Douglas County perspective is good and important. So if you know of anyone on those who may be interested, let me know. Finally, I will note that we've had an ongoing effort for a while, which started with the idea that we love our mountains, and that represents mostly the Carson Valley section of our county, and we love our picture here. It occurred to me, wouldn't it be nice to have also representations from a couple other of our locations in our county, namely Lake Tahoe and Topaz Lake. So we've done some work, me and Commissioner Gardner and Eric Cacinero, in locating some photos, one of Tahoe, one of Topaz, and we would like to make similar size prints and put them on the back wall. And we do not want to dip into county coffers to do that. It's going to take about $1,000. So if anyone wants to chip in, I'm chipping in $100. So this is my open invitation to count anyone else in who may want to. So that's all I have. We're up to 2. Thank you, Commissioner Gardner. Anyone else? We'll go down the line. Go ahead and commit.
I have to clear that expenditure with my wife before I can commit, but I'll try. I think I could do it.
Okay, Commissioner Rice?
As luck would have it, most of my meetings are next week and the week after.
Okay.
Don't count on
it. Commissioner Tolbert.
I have a few. This week was actually pretty busy so far. Had a meeting Tuesday. We had the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, and so they presented the draft master plan for the fairgrounds. So there was a lot of work put into that. We recommended some tweaks as from the board before it comes forward to here, so they're going to do that, and I believe it'll be on the agenda in April for that master plan for that section. Was pretty good meeting. A lot of people were there, including the sheriff, who made public comment about what could be done, what the benefits could be if we move forward. It's going to be a very heavy lift and take a long time to get that funded if we do that, but having the master plan is going to be a good thing. I also yesterday attended the Minden Tahoe Airport advisory committee for the master plan update there. And I want to assure our public that I was the first meeting I attended, but that is a quality group of people. I was impressed by the amount of knowledge that the people that were there representing the pilots and the airport and the company that is actually managing that master plan amendment or master plan update, just the knowledge and understanding that those people had was really impressive. They are very much in tune with what I keep hearing from the community about not wanting to expand that into a commercial. There's basically nothing in there about that so far as I can tell about expanding. It's basically expanding the services that we have there now and providing those services better, not additional. So that was really, really a good meeting. And I think, yeah, that was the last one that was of importance today.
Thank you. It's already been reported on our activities in Washington, D.C., advocating on behalf of the county. I did want to mention, so 8 years ago, I served on the Senior Services and Public Transportation Board, and I brought to that board a desire or a need to identify that we had no public transportation in South County, and a need for that. Well, it's finally happening. It's only taken 8 years, but there is a public workshop feedback sessions on March 12th and on the 17th from 12 to 2 at the TRE Community Center down there. I'm sure those are senior lunches down there, and so we'll get some feedback there. And then a public workshop on April 1st from 6 to 8, also at the TRE Community Center. So we are finally moving forward on getting transportation to our seniors and other residents down in South County. So I'm looking forward to all of that. Otherwise, I have nothing else to report. Thank you. So at this time then, we will go to closing public comment.
Charles Efferton. Missed my chance to comment on the Safe Routes to School presentation. I'd like to bring your attention to one of the slides that was in that presentation, and this is the one on the high injury network. And these are streets that represent the locations with concentration of higher severity crashes, fatal and serious injury crashes. And I'd like to bring your attention to the fact that Johnson Lane, from the end all the way past Fremont, all the way down to East Valley, the East Valley section that's down below, that is all on the county's high injury network. And as I said before, those locations are important. I would also like to bring to your attention that is exactly the section that was a part of the ordinance that you put forward to limit trucks on that section of the high injury network, and was then dumped when you got pressure. So now you've got hundreds of trucks going down that high injury network section of roadway when you could have stopped it with that ordinance.
Thank you.
Jim Jackson. It sounds like Johnson Lane is coming back into the picture again. It should. As a little incident that happened with me out there, my wife and I drove out to walk our dog and almost got run off the road by one of the gravel trucks. Now, this was out on the BLM. There's a speed limit of 25 miles an hour, which nobody is improving on or enforcing. And this truck was traveling probably at least twice that speed coming down there. They're paying no attention to any of the agreement that you made with them. It's time for you folks to get a backbone and stand up to these people. You say the sheriff is responsible for doing most of it. Well, then put some pressure on the sheriff. Yes, he's an elected official. You don't control him. You control his budget. Put some pressure on him to start enforcing some of these laws. Start enforcing these agreements that you made. The number of trucks going by out there is ridiculous. Knox is thumbing their nose at you. If I was sitting up there, I'd be very embarrassed about that. You're supposed to be representing us. On my way down here, talk about these roundabouts. The one right up here, off of Buckeye, there was a hay truck, a triple, and you've seen how high they load those things, trying to make that roundabout. The first part of the truck made it. The second part of the truck was up on the curb. The third part of the truck, I swore was going to tip over because it started swaying because he was all the way up on it and that load was leaning and he was pulling away and it started to shimmer. And I thought, I'm going to be stuck behind that because that much hay going all over the road. So when you put these roundabouts in, look at what kind of truck traffic is going to be coming down there. And maybe you want to either change the idea of the roundabout or limit the truck traffic because something's going to happen and everything. The other thing was coming across Fremont this morning. Fremont's in terrible shape, absolutely horrible shape. Well, somebody is cutting a pipeline or something across the road. And as I came across it today, if they're not going to improve that any better than what they've done on the side that supposedly was done, you're going to have people leaving the ground as they cross that at 45 miles an hour. It's more like a speed bump than it is just a patch. So I suggest that the county get out there and take a close look at that and make sure that they make sure it's flat. Because I've got a Thunderbird that I crossed it with and I almost bottomed out on it when I came over it. So if I do, I'll send you the bill. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional public comment? Seeing no additional public comment, bring it back to the board, and the meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.